India has wrapped it up. India has wrapped up the series. They wrapped up the game decisively, comprehensively. Kali sikata word bhai ne aaj tak yaad hai. Yes, Parthiv?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, very good. This is Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Harsha Bhogle and Parthiv Patel. India, just to quickly tell you, batted first, scored 188 and then have skittled out the West Indies for 100. 100 for 10. Looks so weird to see it written like that. 100 for 10. But yeah, that's it. That's all the West Indies could get. And it was basically Sharma and Hetmeyer who got, he's the majority stakeholder just by himself. And the other 10 are minority shareholders because they couldn't even get as many as Hetmeyer got himself. So that's 88 runs. Come on. Sir, we spoke about this yesterday. 88 runs in a T20 team is an innings defeat.
10 for 43 from 9.4 overs for spin.
That's right.
And if you see how they played spin, and you're talking of batsmen 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
You expect 5, 6, 7, 8 to be able to play. And I mean, it sounds very harsh when you're sitting in a studio and you're talking about it. Nicholas Pooran, no clue. Rovman Powell, no clue. Who came after that? Dominic Drakes and Kemo Paul. All getting out because they didn't read the wrist spin and hoping to read the wrist spin off the deck.
Yeah.
Parthiv will tell you, if you try to read wrist spin off the deck...
Too late.
Too late.
Too little, too late.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well say, forget it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what they did actually.
They did. Unless you're lucky enough, you might just get 1 or 2 hits out of it if you're swinging and one of might get connected. But if you're not reading the wrist spin from the hand, it's just...
It's a guessing game.
It is a guessing game. Then you are not in a position to even try and maneuver and take singles also, because you're just basically planting your foot straight and hoping that that it's a ball which you already have guessed. So you might get hit. Otherwise, I don't think it's very difficult for them to play wrist spin if they are not picking it from the hand.
Well, you could tell how difficult it was, and for the entire team collectively, because when you see the bowling analysis, you'll see the story. Because it's actually, this is the first time. This is the first time that this has happened, that spin has taken all the wickets in a game, in an innings.
when they were taking
First
wickets,
time in a T20I.
They were taking wickets for fun, Gaurav. Kuldeep
Yeah.
Yadav and Ravi Bishnoi were taking wickets for fun.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that in a T20 international at this level. I know India's won, and I hope it doesn't look like we're talking down or talking condescendingly.
No,
but
we're
at this
being-
level,
Yeah.
spinners shouldn't be taking wickets for fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're being mildly irreverent, but the fact is that we're actually calling it as we're seeing it, because Parthiv, that's what happened. After a little while, it was almost funny to see.
Yeah,
what
it was. I
going on.
mean, that we're talking about this wrist spin here, and there is Akshaya Patel also, finger spinners also
took
took
three. Yeah.
3 wickets.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't think West Indies has applied themselves enough, or maybe they're not putting that enough price on their wicket. That is the reason why you're seeing this game after game. This is 88. Then last game was 68. There is one more game where there was about more than 60 as well. So there is no contest, and I mean, you don't expect that from an international game where you can understand if it's a rank turner where it was just unplayable to play. This wasn't. The one team is scoring 190 and the other team is scoring just about 100. So it's obviously there's a problem there.
This was not Ahmedabad. Yes?
Basically, this
Naughty.
wasn't a rank turner.
It's not a rank turner, but we said this in the
I'm
first match.
enjoying this. Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
And I think I want to get paid decently for doing this.
You're getting entertainment. You are getting paid decently for entertainment. Don't say that you're not being paid decently.
I'm not complaining.
Sir, you're best seat in the house.
Out of all these, you're the highest paid.
I wouldn't say that.
Sir, please. Comprehensively. This word I will use very often now. In fact, tomorrow I feel like I'm going to go to a meeting and say this word, and they might turn around and say, who's this guy? But I say, yeah, I'm sponge. I'm SpongeBob SquarePants. I absorb. All right. Well, West Indies seemed like they didn't absorb much. They couldn't absorb the pressure. They couldn't absorb the spin. They really couldn't absorb the awesomeness of India, who were all over them in this series. The scoreline does read 4-1. Yes, there was the one game for West Indies, but India managed to pull that back as well, almost, when they didn't have a good performance, but still managed to run West Indies close. So here it is. And this is what it's looking like now for India. This tour, only that one loss on the 1st of August, and that's fine because on the 1st of the month, sometimes, you know, you're a little lax because कभी-कभी salary नहीं आई होती ना first को, तो इसलिए आप काम पे थोड़े से focus नहीं करते.
या फिर सैलरी आ गई होती है तो वो उड़ाने चले जाते हो.
कुछ ऐसे हो जाता है ना, थोड़ा focus नहीं रहता first of the month को, तो इसीलिए उसको छोड़ देते. But otherwise, if you see the positives that have come for India in this series, geez, if we start listing them, there are just so many. And let's just jump straight into that, because in this match, I think the analysis for this batting effort of West Indies, or the lack of batting effort of the West Indies, is just that. You can just sum it up by saying there was spin and there was no West Indies. I think it was just that, right? It was, as Navjot Singh Sidhu used to say once, कि क्या जब बस और Mercedes टकराती है तो इसका कुछ बचना नहीं और उसका कुछ रहना नहीं. I think something like that he used to say. I think that's what happened today, कि उनका ना कुछ बचा ना कुछ रहा, and West Indies 100 all out. So really you can't do much analysis or much kind of observation on this, except the fact that they were just fish out of water against spin.
I mean, there is a very good chance that a full-strength Indian team will not include any of the top 4 players in this side.
Yeah.
And yet you won so comprehensively. There's a very good chance that the full-strength Indian side will not include any of the 3 spinners who played today or any of the 5 bowlers who played today. And yet, this was an 88-run win.
Great observation.
And that tells you, I mean, I know it was a wicket that was starting to slow down, but it just tells you one team didn't turn up.
Yeah.
They just did not turn up. Remember, we were saying at the start that maybe we shouldn't read too much into body language, but there doesn't seem to be any intent in this West Indies side today. And when they came out to bat, it was clear there wasn't any.
I hope that they pick themselves off the floor after this, that they learn from the mistakes that they made here, because I think world cricket needs, for excitement, needs a West Indies team, because you know when they're switched on, what level of cricket and what level of entertainment they're capable of.
The world needs that flair that West Indies usually, you know, gives you that entertainment. They gives you that, you know, whenever they're playing, there's always some drama, this kind of a drama, whether they get 100 or, you know, every time they go out there and play that different brand of cricket, and which, you know, we've been talking about, and they are far away from that. Basically, they probably need to go and, you know, I for one, you know, if you're not picking wrist spinners, you probably go out there, maybe before going into the nets, just try and see videos, try and pick up the clues where it is going from, and maybe try and go back to the old school of playing with the spin and not against the spin. When you are not picking up at all, you got to go back to your basic, try and see, you know, play the percentage cricket which we usually talk about. So then you give yourself that chance of staying in the game. Here they are not giving them a chance at all.
No, there was a reason I was saying that the whole is less than the sum of the parts. Take the IPL, the world's toughest T20 league. Nicholas Pooran has won matches for his franchise. Shimron Hetma has won matches for his franchise.
Yeah.
Rovman Powell has won a couple of games for his franchise. Obed McCoy has won a couple of games for his franchise. Between them, they didn't create an impact. I know Hetma has scored some runs, but they're all part of the same side.
Yeah.
But when they all come together to play in a team together, they don't seem to be the same players that they are when they're playing solitary, separate for other franchises.
Is it because they're great as supporting acts when there's not that much responsibility on them, when teams can liberate them and saying, all right, you're a joker in the pack, you're a wild card, just go out there
I don't know.
and cause destruction?
I don't know. It will be easy. It will be easy for me to find an answer. I don't know. Maybe you know.
No, even in IPL, usually the onus is more on the overseas player. You know, usually when you go, you're only 4 of them, so there is more pressure on you. You were supposed to, you know, if you're playing an overseas player in the side, you were supposed to perform better than any other Indian player, so that, you know, you keep holding on to your place. And usually teams play the match winners in those 4. So I think that's where the more responsibility. I mean, wherever you go as a professional player, there is more responsibility. Here, you know, they should, once you play outside your country, and if you're doing well, that's what we used to do, like, right? In, you know, in first-class cricket, when there was no first-class cricket, we used to go to England, play as a pro, and come back as better players, and, you know, and then try and win games for your team.
Yeah.
That's a kind of attitude. That's a kind of approach, you know, we learned from the team when you're playing as professionals, and these guys are playing as so-called pros in, you know, in leagues all over the world.
Something is not gelling, right? Something is not gelling, because you have these players, they're the king players, they know how to play, they know how to play this format. That's what's most important. They've played against the best bowlers world over in different teams, in different leagues, but somehow it is just not translating when they come and put on this maroon. Anyway, let's talk about India because a lot went right in this series, and now we're going to devote the next 62 minutes to what went right for India because it's a long list. Okay, maybe we'll just run through it.
Am I going to keep moving my neck for 62 minutes?
No, sir. At this, we defer to you because we are just here for side. Sir, we are the West Indies players in the league. You are our captain.
ये दोनों कुछ तय करके आए हो क्या?
कपड़े तय करके आए सर. उसने धोए, मैंने तय करे. So pluses. आपके लिए the pluses for India.
Virtually, Arshdeep has had a really good series.
Yeah.
Avesh off and on, but when he had a good series, he was player of the match. Akshar has done everything that you could have asked Akshar to do. He came in and finished games. He bowled in the power play today. He got runs. So Akshar has already told the selectors, if you want to look beyond Ravindra Jadeja, or if for some reason Ravindra Jadeja is not available, excuse me, I am here.
Yeah.
So Akshar has done that. Karthik didn't need to do too much, but finished couple of games. I thought Hardik batted really well today. It was a tough situation. So Hardik's come and bowled well. Hooda's taken his chances. Shreyas Iyer took his chance today. Everyone's taken their chances, and we haven't even come to Surya Kumar Yadav yet. And Rohit, who was going boom boom.
Yeah, shining star.
Rishabh got runs yesterday. Sorry, I'm just remembering everybody as we
You were absolutely right when you started off by saying that everyone, right? All of them have been pluses. And I'd just like to add to that, they've all been pluses individually, and they've also been pluses in different positions, which means that the team, the little grid that you make of the team has even more options now.
To me, I think, yes, Harsha pointed out every individual here. To me, I think biggest plus was the approach of the Indian team. You know, despite losing on wickets, despite, you know, being 60 for 4 in a couple of games, they stuck to their plan. They stuck to, you know, their approach, which they believed in, which Rohit also spoke about, that we want to play with this approach, and they stuck to it. So to me, I think that's something which, you know, the attacking approach which we are talking about.
This is the trick behind it.
कैसा
लगा आपको ये graphic हमने compile किया आपके लिए, because this is the spine of the innings, right? We always talk about the head and the tail. The tail's got a wag and the head's got a roar. But it's the middle overs that are the spine. You can't let those be slow. And you can tell the only game where it was slow was the game that India lost. Right? So it's pretty simple. It's a telling statistic, this one, isn't it?
So if you've got a bowler who gives you wickets in the middle overs, he's worth his weight in gold.
Yeah.
And if you've got a batsman who strikes at 150 plus in the middle overs, he's worth his weight in gold.
Surya's 175, I just want to say.
Like Hetmeyer does that for franchise teams around the world. They've tended to use him as a finisher, but he does that. But Surya Kumar Yadav plays that role. And so many times we talk about the power play, we talk about the death. Power play, death is a team that maxes the middle over so often that tends to win.
It's the less glamorous part of the 20-over game, but it is the more, which is what kind of makes it the most significant, because it goes below the radar, but that's why you need to be above.
You can only read the stats after the game. You usually, you know, when the game's over, when the first 6 overs gone, if you're 50 for 1 and then suddenly say, okay, let's have a glass of water and, you know, just see what is happening. But usually, you know, if you slow down there, and then it becomes very difficult unless you have an outstanding finish. Then if you lose wicket in the middle over, and if you're also scoring at 6 and over, then you are in trouble. That's when, you know, you have to be lucky enough to get to 160, 170. That is what was happening with Indian team till the World Cup, and that is the reason why India had to change that approach. Hence, if you look at the result of Indian team in bilateral series is right from the last World Cup till here, they've won almost everything, and that is the biggest change. And I'm glad that India is, you know, probably doing and sticking to that right approach, because that is the most important part.
I think that's also, I mean, nothing against the old captain, but with the new captain here, and he's had this phenomenal success in T20 cricket, and there's no secret of the fact that he won 5 trophies. So when it comes to blueprint of playing T20 cricket, and these formats in the last few years have become so distinctly different from each other. T20 cricket has become so dynamic. One ball can completely change the outcome of a game, right? If you just get your eye off the ball on one ball, it can change the game. This is a guy who really knows the blueprint and the template of this structure.
Yes, we'll wait and see a little bit longer. Virat Kohli also had a nice little purple patch. India have been a very good white ball team, except in the major tournaments. And we say except in the major tournaments because they've been making the playoffs except for the last T20 World Cup. So this seems a refreshing new way of playing because we are looking at it in the context of those 2 games. which is India-Pakistan when they made 152. See what happened in the middle overs there in both those games. Both against New Zealand and against Pakistan. The middle overs were where you lost the game there too.
Correct.
So we're looking at this approach in the light of those two.
Yeah.
But this, when you look at franchise cricket, when you look at what other teams are doing, this seems to be a more refreshing approach. But it's an approach that on the odd day you will lose, but you need batting depth.
Yeah.
You need that batsman at 7.
I mean, the strange thing is, and it's not strange actually, the fact is that India actually the only time in these 100 overs, 20 overs of batting in each game, the only time in the 100 overs when they haven't played to that approach was actually the middle overs of the second game which India lost.
Yep.
Right? So they lost a couple of wickets and they said, oh, let's slow down. They scored at less than a run on the ball and they lost that game. Otherwise, and I think they learned from it really quickly. There you go. See, the middle overs there yielded less than a run a ball.
So that's exactly what we spoke about, right? After that game, that India, in adapting this approach, India will learn. There will be games where India will lose, but I think that there's more to learn from that approach.
Yeah.
That this is the way forward, because every franchise, every team, every franchise or every country who's won the World Cups or the tournaments, they've played with this approach. So that's something which India also has analyzed after that World Cup, what has gone wrong. The good teams usually do that. You analyze what has gone wrong and learn from it and try and see whether we can play with that approach. And when you're playing with this approach, that's when the leadership becomes very, very important, because you have to give that confidence to your player, because you want your player to play at 150 strike rate or 160 strike rate. That means you want your batsman to take more risk, and that's where there is chance of he'll get out.
Yeah.
But you want to give that confidence, which every player is coming out and talking about it. Whether it is a bowler or a batsman, they are saying that we are getting that backing, we are getting that positive vibes from the dressing room.
Yeah, I would just caution against reading too much, because this wasn't the greatest opposition.
Fair.
On paper, it was good opposition. Most days they didn't turn up. So you've got to be a little careful of reading too much into this opposition. Having said that, we are now looking at 16 series with 1 loss.
Yeah.
And that was when, if you'd been playing, you might have been drafted as 12th man.
Yeah.
That was in Sri Lanka when anybody who was fit was put on the ground.
Yeah.
Apart from that, India have drawn 2 and won everything else.
Yeah.
So it's over a period of time. So when I say don't read too much into this particular series, it is because it's just got over.
Yeah.
But there is going to be far tougher competition ahead. I would think the Asia Cup will be far tougher competition.
Yeah, great. But if the approach can go, then
Yes.
as you said,
It's
some
inevitable,
days,
though. Yeah.
Some
That
days
has
it'll
to
come good and some days it won't. But it's just refreshing to see this approach just keep going hammer and tongs. But like Harsha's saying, let's just temper our excitement just a little bit. Just a little bit. We've got an Ask Cricbuzz live question because questions fly thick and fast from all parts of the world. This one came in on the Teetar. Let's have a look at what it was. Lakshit Sehgal has asked, India always enter the ICC tournaments as favourites because of their bilateral record, but stumble at the final hurdle. Why is this the case? Will it be different this time around? First of all, last part of your question we cannot answer.
No chance.
Okay? I can't answer.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
Can't answer.
Yeah.
Sorry. We would like to say yes because I know it will make you feel better. But भाई झूठ नहीं बोल सकता आपसे. ठीक है? We can't see the future.
Will stock market touch 60,000? I don't know. You know, I don't.
Dollar will touch 100?
Who knows?
Patel sahab?
I hope not.
But you're seeing it will, no?
Yeah, no.
Century
I'm not.
marega.
Why
I'm
saying
not
not? Are
saying
you
that.
spending in dollars?
No, that's not. I'm spending in rupees. That's why I don't want dollar to go to 100.
Who will reach 100 first, dollar or Virat? That's the question.
Oil already has.
Virat.
Yeah.
विराट will. भाई ने बोल दिया. भाई एक बारी बोल दे तो भाई बोल देता है. ठीक है?
Yeah.
एक बारी मैंने
कमिटमेंट कर दी
तो मैं
अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता.
ये बेबी एशिया कप में होगा.
नहीं करने दो.
हमने कहा सर थोड़े टाइम से किया नहीं था ना जुगलबंदी. टॉम एंड जेरी किया नहीं था हमने. तुमने काम कर.
You know what? I really get the feeling कि दो दोस्त बात कर रहे हैं, मैं कहाँ आ गया? तो आप करते रहिए.
सर आप हमारे बड़े भाई हैं.
नहीं करते रहिए.
पर अभी साइड पे तो छोटे.
No, you know,
बदमाशी कर दे थोड़ी.
earlier you all were just sort of talking like that. Now you're starting a sentence, he's finishing, he's starting.
Cheech and Chong. Google that. You'll find out who they are. But anyway, the question, we'll pull the question up again. Sorry, Lakshit, हम थोड़े side पे आ गए. थोड़े हमने क्योंकि आपका last part थोड़ा हमें derail कर दिया ना. But why is this the case? This we can answer. We don't know if it will be different this time around. But why does India stumble at the final hurdle? So basically, ये again जो आपने अभी ये बात start करी थी, you spoke about, bilaterals and a great record, and then you play the ICC. पहले तो ये समझाइए सर कि pressure में तो obviously बहुत फर्क होता है, Parthiv, in when you're playing a bilateral and you're playing a knockout. If you're playing a knockout, it's very different from a bilateral.
Yeah, absolutely. I think India, if you look at the bilateral series, you don't have to change much. You have to just plan once, and usually that plan goes for a full series. But here the pressure is different. When you get into semi-final or final. But having said that, except the 2015 World Cup where India lost to a better side, which was Australia. Then they went on to win the World Cup. But I thought in 2000, a Champions Trophy final where India got tactically wrong, where India decided to bowl first on that wicket, or 2019 World Cup, if you're talking about it, 50 over World Cup, where we could not find number 4 for 2 years. So we obviously didn't get our team right. And if you look at last World Cup also, we picked players whom we left out UZ Chahal, who is your number 1 spinner. We picked players who did well just in the recent past. And I thought we did not win all these ICC trophies is because I thought we were tactically not right, and that is the reason why. That's an honest opinion here. We've won all the games, but we did not get the tactical point right. 2019 World Cup semi-final, we've sent Dinesh Karthik at bat at number 5 when there was
Dhoni at 7.
Dhoni at 7. I don't know if he was going to win you game from a dressing room or not. So we don't know that. So that's tactically we were. Yeah. Technically, we were not on point in ICC trophies.
Still think about that semi-final. Yeah. I was sitting there watching. I said, 5 for 3. Who's the person who can take you from 5 for 3? Who'll calm things down? Who'll be in there? And he didn't come out to bat.
Yeah.
It was a 220, 240 chase. 240. It was a 240 chase.
Yeah.
Dhoni had reached a stage where he might have struggled in a 300-310 chase. 240 chase. Anyway, that's what
wheelhouse. It was
but he could have taken time. He could have been 10 of 35 and still taken you home. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. But I'd like to look at those numbers again, because when you're playing, say, an IPL, you've got 14 games, you can come back. You're playing a World Cup. You're playing 9 games, you can still come back. Pakistan almost came back. England came back in. But now, in these numbers also, before the 21 World Cup, you've lost 1 and 2, 3 and 1, 4 games. Yeah. Here, you've lost 2, 3, 4 games. One of those could be the knockout game.
Knockout games, yeah.
So you never know in a knockout game. But I think there's a deeper reason. And I think one of the reasons we are better placed this time is the quality of 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
They existed then too. It's not that suddenly 5, 6, 7 have emerged out of nowhere. It was the same 5, 6, 7 virtually. It was still Hardik, it was still Jadeja, there was Dhoni there last time. Or even, I think, Kedar Jadhav didn't play, but it was a very similar squad at the last T20 World Cup. But there was too much dependence on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And I think we post 1, 2, 3, I don't know if 5, 6, 7 were empowered. That is something only people in the change room will know. From outside, you can get an idea, but you never know. But I think 5, 6, 7, Hardik is a better batsman now. He's a more mature player. I think Jadeja is batting really well. And if the top 3 can give you a good job, you've got a solid finisher in Dinesh Karthik. So I think 5, 6, 7 are more empowered. So let's see.
Rohit has said this after the game. He said that we made it very clear after the last World Cup, where we didn't qualify. He says that we felt there needed to be a change in our attitude and approach in how we play our game. So that is shown. Sorry, he didn't say this after the game. He said this before, but anyway, he said it. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter when he said it. Then Arshdeep has said, which player of the series, by the way, Arshdeep has been given the
very interesting choice, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting choice. He said, feels really good. As Rahul sir says, we are a process-based team. Arshdeep, you're too young to be saying process. No, naughty. He says, we're not thinking too much about the results, and that is what is helping me in my bowling. It's about being adaptable, and a lot of credit goes to the team management for giving me clarity. I think adaptability is a good word, Parthiv, because this team actually has shown adaptability. The individuals have shown adaptability to different situations, to different positions.
And the other word which he has used is clarity. You know, that there is a lot of clarity in thoughts, and everyone's been doing that. Every player is coming out and saying that we know that in spite of playing in different positions, still we know what we are supposed to do in that team. So that is you have to give credit to Rohit and Rahul in this team management.
I mean, you look at Rahul's career. Rohit's been a fantastic captain. He's had a very good track record. But look at things that happened in Rahul Dravid's career. Happy to keep wickets, happy to open the batting. I asked him once, I said, didn't you ever want to say no?
Yeah.
He said, how would I know how good I was if I said no?
Yeah.
So you take a challenge. Every time there's a challenge, you say yes, you discover how good you can be. That is what he wants players to do now. So you can see what Rahul did in his playing career is what he's now asking players to do. This is exactly what he did with India A, if you remember. In India A, different people were given different roles to do. I think Hardik said once when he came back, he'd made a good 50-60, but Rahul said, no, when you're batting at that number, you finish games.
Yeah.
So different people were given different roles, but constantly he said, my job was to make them better players.
Yeah.
I think that is what he's doing now. I don't know how that approach will work in a knockout tournament, because you can have that approach in a tournament like this. But it is so Rahul, and I think it looks like it is so Rohit, because Rohit also said that me and Rahul sat in a closed room meeting and found that our views were the same, but we discussed what our views on the game were before when we first came together.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. Let's just come to Arshdeep, him being the player of the series. It's so interesting because he's played so few games, but he looks like such a, I don't know, when you're watching him bowl, when you're watching him in his follow-through, when you're just watching him do his business, Parthiv, he just seems like he's been playing at this level for years.
Yeah, it looks completely in control. I know we are looking at the numbers here. See, Yorker will always be Yorker, whether you're bowling against a West Indies side or an Australian side. So basically, the execution which he's been doing, and again the clarity of thoughts, what he wants to bowl before he starts bowling, and the adaptability, which is another thing. As soon as the wicket's slow, he starts bowling those slower ones. Especially we saw when he got Mayers out in that first inning, where he got hit for a couple of balls and he suddenly bowled that quick bouncer. So he knows what he wants to do, and then execution is the most important thing for a bowler or for a batsman. If you're clear in your mind, then more often than not you will do what you want to do, and that's exactly what is happening with Arshdeep Singh.
I'm very happy for him.
Yeah.
And it just tells you there's a message for everybody that if you haven't made it by the time you're 18, 19, it doesn't mean you won't make it.
Yeah.
And we've said this so many times. He was the fourth seamer in an under-19 World Cup side.
Yeah.
And he's now got the best chance of being in the national team. The other three were Mavi Nagarkoti and Ishan Porel.
Yeah.
And Arshdeep hardly got a game in that under-19 World Cup. But you can still come back. And he's come back through performances not in a great franchise, by the way.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a lead role, so he improved not being in a franchise that was very richly endowed. He was playing for Punjab Kings.
Yeah.
But he seems to want to grow. And he talked about different situations. Arshdeep bowled at the death. Arshdeep bowled in the power play. Then one game he came back and bowled in the 12th over. He was swinging the ball away, he was bowling Yorkers, he was tailing it in. Now, I think,
Yeah, so he meant a 3D bowler he has become.
Hey, naughty.
all Raidu.
Naughty.
Three-dimensional bowler. Three-phase
Yeah.
bowler.
All we need to see now is how he holds his own in a high-pressure tournament.
True.
And because I think he's picked himself.
Yeah, he seems like a guy who is kind of unnerved by the situation, or by the grandness of the situation or the stage or where the game is. And that's what you need. You need somebody who is unfazed by that. Those are the people who handle pressure best.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. See, honestly speaking, the couple of things which might have helped him in grooming is, when IPL started, when he probably started IPL, they were not playing in front of the crowd, so pressure was slightly less. So he might have learned. He still played IPL, but in a slightly lesser pressure games where when you're playing in front of full crowd, then there's a lot of pressure of executing things. But when he started, there was no crowd, so that probably might have helped. So that's probably
Good insight.
Yeah,
good insight. Well, you just saw him once showing a lot of emotion when he gave a bit of a glare after getting a wicket. That was only once in all those games, but otherwise
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, didn't mind that at all. It was great. He got the better of a batter who was getting the better of him. Better of a batter was getting the better of him. And then after that, he got the wicket. And yes, he did give a little glare. But come on, fast bowlers have to do that. But otherwise, he's just been really calm and control. It's like they say, still waters run deep. And Arshdeep has won the player of the series. Just saying. Just saying. ऐसा मतलब ऐसा रिएक्ट करें जो जैसे पैसे देके सुनने आए फ्री में मिला ले लो क्या है So Surya, just one last piece of business which is discussing Sky. This Sky has no limit at all, and he has shown it this time. Have you seen that Robert De Niro Bradley Cooper movie Limitless? It's a movie called Limitless. Must have a
Oh,
look.
you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was a
You're amazing.
conversation
नहीं, नहीं, sir.
नहीं देखी
asking
मैंने.
you.
He was talking about English movies, so we have a conversation only of Hindi movies.
हाँ,
not
मैं हिंदी दिखा.
दोनों आप दोनों ही. Oh, अच्छा. Pretty sons of the soil.
Sort of.
Let me ask you about that. क्या आपने वो फिल्म देखी है बुलेट ट्रेन? बर्निंग ट्रेन.
Burning Train.
बर्निंग ट्रेन नहीं देखी मैंने. उसका एक्चुअल नाम गलत था. वो उसका नाम था टर्निंग ब्रेन.
टर्निंग क्या बात कर रहे हैं? बड़ी अच्छी फिल्म थी सर बर्निंग ट्रेन.
उसमें कवाली थी जो खत्म ही नहीं हुई.
बिल्कुल
लंबी सी बड़ी अच्छी कवाली थी.
हाँ सर बिकॉज बहुत लंबी ट्रेन थी वो.
मैंने पिक्चर नहीं देखी. बट द जोक आई हर्ड व्हेन दे केम आउट वाज भाई बर्निंग ट्रेन नहीं थी टर्निंग ब्रेन थी.
Turning Brain is a good name for it. But yeah, let's talk about Sky because Sky has just been वो 24 रन की इनिंग्स खेलता है तो मिस्टर 360 की तरह खेलता है वो.
But what Surya has shown here, what Sky has shown is there is no sanctity to batting positions in T20 cricket.
Yeah.
You should be able to bat anywhere. Normally, openers tend to be fixed in what I still think is the greatest T20 team ever assembled.
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma, Quinton de Kock opened right through the season. That's Mumbai Indians 2020. Other across franchise teams, however, that was just the best team ever put together. But there, they stuck with the openers. What these people are now saying is there is no sanctity. You should be able to open. You should be able to bat at 5. You should be able to bat at 3. It's almost like telling a midfielder tomorrow you go in and play. You go in and start, or tomorrow you come back and play the holding midfielder's role, or tomorrow you go and play wide on the flanks. You should be able to play all that.
Yeah.
I think that is what they're saying. Sky can bat anywhere today because that is his approach. But we must remember he will not give you a 40-50 every day. If he gives you 33 of 18 balls, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's actually a damn good score. But yeah.
So all these numbers we can see of this series as an opener, but I would still like to see him bat at number 4.
Yes.
There is no doubt in
because
my
of
mind.
those numbers,
Because
those
of
middle overs numbers.
These are this series number, but those numbers are even better than this number. He's got strike rate of 175, and that's where just the stats which we showed like 5-10 minutes before that actually were the game-changing stats.
Yeah.
And that's where you need someone who can change the game. That's where you need a batsman who can actually put bowlers under threat, thinking that if I made a slightest of mistake, I can be hit anywhere on the ground, not just straight over. I can be hit anywhere.
But this team management is anyway said to all the batters, kahin bhi batting aaye, ready raho, ready raho. Anybody is batting anywhere. And the fact is that they're all being successful. So tomorrow this Asia Cup team is getting picked. I have no idea how they're going to pick 15 because till yesterday you thought, maybe Shreyas has missed the bus. But at this point in time, today, 64 of 40, what do you say?
If they have to pick 15, I think it might still be a little tough for Shreyas.
क्या है आपकी 15 सर? आपने तो बनाई भी है ना? आप दोनों ने बनाई थी क्या है? बना के दी है कि सीक्रेट है?
नहीं
बनाइए.
अच्छा पर शेयर करेंगे कि?
चलिए देखते हैं.
चलिए अच्छा मतलब ग्राफिक भी बना दिया है? Naughty.
While you were busy on your phone, we were doing working.
Because I was making the graphic on my phone.
It's an interesting side. But if KL Rahul is fit to play and Rohit Sharma is fit to play and Surya Kumar Yadav is going to bat at number 4, if you're happy with Dinesh Karthik at 6, what is the first conclusion you draw from there? That you can play one of Virat Kohli or Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
Alternately, the pressure on Dinesh Karthik and Hardik Pandya bats at 6.
Yeah.
So those are the two decisions. If you want Kohli and Rishabh Pant to play, then Hardik Pandya has to bat at 6. Otherwise, you check with KL Rahul, but only one of those two make the side because it's inconceivable that you can look beyond Surya Kumar Yadav. And Deepak Hooda has also shown that he's a very contemporary, modern player.
Yeah.
Deepak Chahar, because we'd like to see how he goes in Zimbabwe. But if Deepak Chahar is fit and we slowly get him into match fitness, he can give you the opening overs at the top. I think it'll be either of Deepak Chahar or Bhuvi to play, with Arshdeep giving you support at the tail end.
Yeah.
But Deepak Chahar also gives you that batting at 8 that Harshal was giving you.
Okay.
So he lengthens that. So that's why I've got Deepak Chahar in that side. I've got Ashwin in that side. I don't know in what role specifically because clearly Chahal is your number 1 spinner. But on the odd days, suddenly a track is slow. You don't know. In Australia, you might suddenly find one of those. Okay, I'll play Ashwin. If Jadeja is injured, okay, I'll play. Maybe Ashwin can bat at 7. Maybe Chahar can bat at 7.
Okay, interesting. This is an interesting team. Parthiv, Is yours any different?
No,
Is it the same?
almost same. I've just made one change into it. I've got Akshaya Patel in place of Ashwin.
Okay.
Yeah, just this one change, because if Jadeja is keeping Jadeja's fitness in mind, and if I've just thought that if Jadeja is injured, you just draft like replacement. You don't have to change the whole composition of the team. You don't have to make too many changes. That is the reason why I've kept Akshar, and Akshar has done enough as a batsman and as a bowler as well to find a place. So that is why that's the only change, and I would still like to see Mohammad Shami. I've put Deepak Chahar, but going with the trend. But I would still like to see Mohammad Shami getting into the side.
Well, I mean, all three of us would like to.
Yeah.
But it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
You'll see tomorrow.
Yeah. But take off from his point. Akshar Patel is one player. We talked about the positives.
Yeah.
He's done everything asked of him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He took the new ball today and picked up 3 wickets.
Yeah.
He's come and finished games twice. Whenever he got the chance, he's finished games twice. He has the ability to hit a 6 in the last over. You hit 2 6 in the last over. You need 15 of the last over to win. The odd day Akshar is batting. There is still hope that he can do it.
Yeah.
He's very good in the middle overs. He's not a Jadeja in the deep, but then nobody is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he holds his own in the field as well. So he's done whatever's been asked of him.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
So and for an off-spinner variety, if you want, you have got Hooda. Obviously, there is no comparison.
Yeah.
Hooda the bowler and Ashwin the bowler.
Fair.
There is no comparison in between them. But just in case, if you want to play on a bigger ground, he might just give you a couple of overs. Anyways,
It's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need. So that is why I've kept Akshar.
What's your top order? That's the problem here, right? Because if you're playing Rohit, let's say you're playing Rohit, Rahul and Virat as 1, 2, 3, and you play Surya as 4, that means between Rishabh and DK, you've got to play only one. Yeah. But you've been grooming DK as your finisher. But Rishabh Pant is your wicket keeper. You can't go without Hardik.
And the only left-hander
without Jadeja.
And the only left-hander there.
Yeah, so you've got a problem here.
Sometimes you say problems of plenty, that's a very difficult problem to solve.
Yeah.
But if those are going to be your top 3, those top 3 have to be batting a certain way.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see with KL Rahul that the runs seem to matter a little more than the strike rate sometimes. And the only reason I keep bringing it up is because I'm a colossal fan of KL Rahul. Who isn't? But
correct.
if KL Rahul can unlock that person,
Yeah.
from time to time, he just goes into the 60 or 47, 48 balls.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be. Can you imagine in form? If you had to tell me 2 batsmen in form, who would you want to see? It's KL Rahul at one end, Sky at the other. And can you imagine if KL Rahul starts batting the way Sky is batting now?
Yeah.
Wow. But you need that KL Rahul to turn up.
My openers are Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. I would want Virat Kohli to open. Just go out there and unleash yourself. You've taken a break. We know there is no shortage of ability here in Virat Kohli's batting style. And sometimes as an opener you start at 0-0. You're batting at 3.
The game is not set up for you.
Game's not set up for you. You have to play according to the game situation. Here you start at 0-0. Just go out there. The approach.
You create the game situation.
You create the game situation, and you have all the abilities. Virat Kohli can play the way he wants, and he can still play at 170 strike rate, and if 2 wickets have fallen early, he can still play at 130. He has that ability. The number of runs, number of hundreds which he scored is the testimony of a player himself. So I think I would like Virat Kohli to open in T20
The one place in the world, if you tell Virat Kohli that you've got one series left in your career, maybe he's 42 years old at that point or whatever, you've got one series left before you retire, my gut feel is he'll say, I want to play in Australia. Yeah. It's just that he likes that pace, the bounce, the aggressive environment around, balls not stopping and coming, doesn't swing very much, comes beautifully, lovely bouncy wickets, he doesn't mind pace. So if there's one place you'd say Virat Kohli will rediscover himself, it's probably Australia.
But I totally, but exactly how it is, the Virat Kohli is Virat Kohli. We talk so much about it.
He's not Gaurav Kapur.
Yeah, he is the Gaurav Kapur. Our own Gaurav Kapur.
Oh,
दोनों जय वीरू बन के मेरे को मोटरसाइकिल बना दी.
No, he said Virat Kohli said, no, he's not Gaurav Kapur.
So basically, you want him to play as freely as he can. There is no pressure on him. He doesn't have to prove to anyone. He's already scored 7,100. He's scored so many runs. There is no pressure on him. To me, if I'm in that position, I would just go out there and just keep hitting the ball. And all his runs, all his big innings have come as an opener in IPL 2016, 17, 18, where he was batting so well.
Yeah.
And that's the position he likes. And on top of everything, he likes to take the game to attack. He likes to go out there and play attacking brand of cricket. And he likes those challenges, and that's something which could unleash new Virat Kohli for a couple of years or maybe 3-4 years in T20 cricket.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. We'll know tomorrow, though. I mean, we won't really know tomorrow because we'll have to wait for the Asia Cup to start to see what the 11 is. The 15, well, maybe a player here and there, but you've heard what both Harsha and Parthiv have to say about that. We'll know that tomorrow. The team we do know is the team that is going to Zimbabwe to play 3 ODIs. In the middle of this T20 madness, with one tour after the other, there's these 3 one-day internationals that are happening in Harare. So let's just show you the squad for that. That has been decided. Shikhar Dhawan is the captain who's taking the team there. So let's show you the team for that. The team that he's taking: Rituraj Gaikwad, Shubman Gill, Rahul Tripathi, Ishan Kishan, Sanju Samson. There's Deepak Hooda, Akshaya Patel. Washington Sundar makes a comeback. Haven't seen that name in a while, so it's good to know that he's injury-free and back. Kuldeep Yadav, Avesh Khan, Shardul Thakur, Prasidh Krishna, Deepak Chahar will be making a comeback there, and Mohammad Siraj.
It's an excellent team.
It's a brilliant team.
And it's only 15. They're not taking 18, 19, 20 players. Only 15. Only 3 games against a Zim side that's done well against Bangladesh recently.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of players there I want to look at very closely. At the top of that list is obviously Deepak Chahar, but it's Washington Sundar.
Yeah.
I don't know if BCCI pressurized him, or not pressurized, but nudged him into going and playing in England. But it was a very good idea. You know, maybe you're not fit enough, ready enough, don't have enough cricket behind you to come straight back into the Indian team. Go and play 4-day cricket. He's gone and played 4-day cricket in England. So he's getting a lot of overs behind him. He's getting a lot of batting behind him. And he scored runs too.
Yeah. And that's what, as a player also, you want 4-day cricket less intense. That's where you can go out there and not to try too much. You can slowly get into the games, and that's exactly what has happened. He's gone now. Deep Saini has also gone on to play county cricket, which is great for Indian cricket. And I'm sure Washi is the guy. What I'm looking forward to see how Rahul Tripathi plays. I mean, that guy deserves an India cap for sure.
I think the best warm-up games, honestly, I think the best warm-up games India can have. Pick your 15 for the T20 World Cup and play against the other 15.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, those other 15 will give you a serious run for your money.
Yeah. That's what should happen. Forget going to Australia early. Or go to Australia early, take everyone with you. Just take everyone and play a couple of warm-up games.
Apply for visas today.
Apply today, that's
yes.
It was America, you should have applied a month back, but well, it's Australia.
No, for the 2024 World Cup, apply now.
Actually, for the, yeah, correct. Apply right now. But warm-up sounds about good right now, right? Because the AC in this room is what, minus 14 centigrade or something?
I'm just asking for some thermals.
Yeah, it really is. Some strange reason. So when you said the word warm-up, I was like, I want some warm-up.
Yeah.
I really do. All right, so those are the 3 games against Zimbabwe. And then, of course, there's the Asia Cup. And we'll be here for the Asia Cup. Cricbuzz Live in English and in Hindi. And we, as I told you, we have a galaxy of stars. Everybody's going to be here. So we're going to have a whole lot of fun then as well. So do join us for that. That starts on the 27th of August. I don't know if it starts earlier or later, but I've blocked my dates from 27th of August. So I'll be here from then. तो आना जरूर आप लोग, ठीक है? है ना? जाना जरूर.
और मैं यहीं बैठ के ऐसे करता रहूँगा.
नहीं सर.
वैसे भी मेरे को डॉक्टर ने कहा है कि थोड़े नेक एक्सरसाइजेस करते रहना.
Warm up.
तब तक these 2 guys would have got some more stories. He'll start, he'll end.
अभी सर आप हमें उसका Commonwealth Games का स्कोर तो बताइए ना प्लीज, क्योंकि apparently some 45 or 21 are required for India to win. And Jemima and Harman have had there was a partnership and almost 100 run partnership they had.
Oh.
Yes, so from the time we came, the things changed a lot. When we stopped watching, the team started doing better. So now we're not allowed to watch. That's the superstition.
Because they've lost 5 wickets.
अब क्या है score?
121, 41 of 25, but they've lost 5 wickets. इसीलिए ऐप हर वक्त साथ में रखना चाहिए क्रिकबज़ का.
बिल्कुल, सर ने रखा हुआ है. हम लोग इंस्टाग्राम वगैरह खोल के रखते हैं यहाँ पे, है ना? क्योंकि कभी भाई की ट्रेंडिंग होगी तो पता होना चाहिए ना.
पता होना चाहिए ना.
क्योंकि क्या ये टीम भी रील बना के डालती रहती है ना शो के बीच में.
The only thing I found very funny was someone tested positive. Someone showed symptoms and they said, we will manage and let her play. So what, the keeper stands back?
Yeah, not allowed to stand
close. Luckily she got out quickly.
No close-in fielders. Yeah. Taila Magrat, right?
Maybe it was in the playing conditions early on, but to me that seems very, very strange.
Yeah.
Because people were not allowed to come in because they tested positive. So India didn't get a service of Pooja Vastrakar for the first couple of games, didn't get Sabinani Meghna for the first game because they tested positive. And here in a final, someone's tested positive and is showing symptoms. Hang on, if I'm playing against them, I'm saying, excuse me, WHO.
Yeah. It's almost like...
I don't know what the playing condition is.
But it's almost like, हमारा COVID, तुम्हारा COVID बुखार. इसका क्या मतलब है भारतीय?
I think I think it's there. It was there in the pre-playing conditions. That is the reason why once you get into that bubble or whatever, I don't think there is bubble, but once a game starts, then if you are tested positive, you are allowed.
I think मेरे को हर्षा भाई को थोड़ा ज़्यादा लग रहा है. कल हमने वो हॉकी में भी देखा ना.
हाँ.
हॉकी में भी देखा ना थोड़ा कि पूरा डांस वांस खत्म हो गया फिर कहो अरे हमने तो घड़ी नहीं ऑन करी यार. फिर से करो.
So
बचा लिया था हमने तो इसलिए मैं अच्छा नहीं लगा. अगर गोल मार दिया होता तो फिर भी करते फिर से.
But आज देखा आपने सविता पुनिया 4, she saved 4 out of 5.
Superstar.
Just star. In the period that I was watching, those 3 girls were unbelievable. I mean, Sindhu was clearly struggling and played a different kind of game to win in straights, and Savita won the boxers. Wow.
Amazing. Well, all the Indian girls have really done us proud today in Birmingham. So, big round of applause to them. Sir, sir, गर्मी होती है थोड़ी सी. Clap करिए, मजा आता है. It increases the heat a little bit. I'll tell you what does increase the heat a lot on this show is the joy factor question. It's boiling hot. It's fresh off the presses. But today, I tell you what, because of Parthiv Patel, we pretty much cracked it right in the beginning. If it was Gautam Gambhir in 2011, Ravindra Jadeja in 2012, Glenn Maxwell in the 2013, who was it in the 2014?
I don't know who was the 14 auction.
Sir, because you have decoded the underlying philosophy.
I don't know the name.
The name I'll tell you, sir. It's highest in auction.
Yeah, it's highest in auction.
It is Yuvraj Singh.
Yuvraj Singh,
Yes.
14 RCB.
That's right.
Yeah, correct.
It is
so,
Yuvraj
so
Singh.
that was I got the theme right. No, exactly.
You got the theme right. Most expensive player in the IPL auction.
So it should be Nishan Kishan in 22.
That's right. Who was in 21?
I don't know. You make the bucks. I don't know.
I don't make their bucks, sir.
Chris
Jamieson was 20.
No, not
Morris.
16 something, 16 and a half.
Chris Morris.
20?
Sir, accountant को सब पता है. मुंशी जी. ये सब हिसाब रखा हुआ है. PPPD ने सब हिसाब रखा हुआ है.
20, I don't know.
जो भी है.
जो भी होगा 20.
सर वो क्या कहते हैं ना बिजनेसमैन कहते हैं ना PNL. यहाँ पे PNP है. ठीक है प्रॉफिट एंड प्रॉफिट. No loss. Profit and profit.
Just showing a 15 also it was Yuvraj Singh.
That's right, he was. 2 years in a row.
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Commentary fees are the same.
क्यों नहीं?
2020 it was Pat Cummins.
2020 was Pat Cummins.
Yeah. We sat here and we talked about all the prices of real estate going up in the sea-facing bungalows in Sydney.
Correct.
Yeah, and he got
Pat
one of those.
Cummins. I think Pat Cummins flipped his property also right now. So he's made more money on that money. But he deserves it. He's one of my favorite bowlers. So he deserves it. All right, 37 needed of 22. I'm not stalling, but I'm just telling you. It's 37 needed of 22 for India. So it's pretty close. So why don't you guys go to a screen right now and cheer our girls on. We're going to scoot from here. Just going to tell you who won the Joy Factor contest today. The winner is Sanket via YouTube. Oh, we got our answer there today. So Sanket, congratulations. And you're our winner today. Well, that's it from this series. It's been fun bringing the India-West Indies T20I series to you. Everything happened in this. There was luggage delays, kits not arriving, match starting 3 hours late, rain delay, parking issues, visa not coming, lightning issues. Everything happened in this 5-game series.
Spin remained magic.
Yeah, today spin got all 10 wickets. I mean, what's going on? What is this? Firozshah Kotla? What's going on? Yeah. Remember?
Yeah, Firozshah Kotla, good name.
Yeah, Firozshah Kotla. Spin got 10 wickets.
Yeah.
It was just one guy. Here it was 3 people.
Yeah, that was aimed at you. You didn't.
Good name.
Yeah, Firozshah Kotla, good idea. It was aimed at you.
Oh, अच्छा.
See, observer. मैं observer हूँ ना, देख रहा हूँ मैं vibes.
You're the comptroller and auditor general.
Correct. Comptroller.
The comptroller and auditor general. He's the CAG. All right. हम यहाँ से निकलते हैं हम आपसे मिलेंगे एशिया कप में. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया पार्थिव पटेल जी का. धन्यवाद. TPpedia,
Thank you.
Profit and Profit. Thank you very much. Bade bhai, Mr. Harsha Bhogle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed Wimbledon chair umpire. I hope you enjoyed it. Neck is feeling good. I am Gaurav Kapur. I would like to thank you all for watching Cricbuzz Live. I would like to thank all our crew also who work hard once every week. So big thank you to them.
Yeah.
Today is the day, in fact. So I must congratulate them. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.